You won't believe what happened in the dead of night in Nairobi's bustling South C estate. A towering structure crumbling like a house of cards, trapping lives in its merciless grip and exposing a web of deadly secrets that could shake Kenya to its core. Imagine the chaos, dust clouds billowing into the sky, screams piercing the early morning silence, and rescuers racing against time as the ground shakes with aftershocks. This is not just another accident, it's a tragedy born from greed, ignored warnings, and a system riddled with failures. Stick around because what we are about to unfold next will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about safety in our cities. But first, let's dive into the heart-pounding details of that fateful day. On Friday, January 2nd of 2026, the unthinkable struck in the South C ward of Nairobi. A massive 16-story building under construction on Muhoho Avenue, right near the South C shopping center and Nairobi South C hospital, suddenly gave way, collapsing in a thunderous roar that echoed through the neighborhood. Picture this: workers had pushed the structures far beyond its limits, reaching the 14th to the 16th floors, even though it was only approved for 12 floors. The results? Devastating. At least 4 people, including security guards who were on site overnight, were believed to be trapped beneath tons of twisted steel and shattered concrete. Tragically, 2 are feared dead as rescue teams dig desperately through the rubble. The collapse didn't just claim that one building, it damaged an adjacent 14-story structure, turning the entire site into a precarious death trap for anyone brave enough to approach. Eyewitnesses described the scene as apocalyptic: cars buried under debris, power lines snapped, and a thick haze of dust choking the air. One resident, speaking to local media, said it felt like an earthquake had hit, shaking homes blocks away. But here is where the mystery deepens. This was not some random act of nature. No earthquake, no storm. This was man-made horror, fueled by violations that scream negligence. And trust me, the shocking truth behind why this happened will make your blood boil. But that is not all. Wait until you hear about the warnings that were bluntly ignored, and let's peel back the layers. Investigations by the National Constructions Authority (NCA) and the Nairobi County government have already uncovered a trail of red flags. This building wasn't just overbuilt, it was a ticking time bomb, flagged at least 3 times in 2025, first in May, then July, and again in December, by county enforcement teams for exceeding those approved height limits. Each time, officials issued stop work orders demanding compliance, but did the developer listen? Absolutely not. They plowed ahead, adding floor after floor in defiance. But why? Because the project was non-compliant from the start, and get this, the developer's license had expired way back in July 31st of 2024. That is over a year and a half of illegal construction right under the noses of authorities. The company behind it all, Abyan Consulting Limited, which shockingly served as both the developer and the contractor, a setup that reeks of corner cutting to save costs. And the man at the helm, Yussuf Mohamed Yussuf, the sole director, now under intense scrutiny. Reports suggest that this is not his first brush with controversy, but we'll get to that later. In July of 2025, during one of those inspections, 3 individuals working at the site were actually arrested for building code violations, handcuffed, hauled in, facing serious charges. But here is the gut-wrenching twist. They were released on a cash bail shortly after, allowing construction to resume as if nothing happened. Who pulled those strings? Was it bribes? Influence? The articles have dug into point to a deeper road-failed oversight, where enforcement is more shown than substance. One investigative piece calls them merchants of death, highlighting how lax regulations and corruption have turned Nairobi's skyline into a graveyard waiting to happen. Think about it. In a city booming with development, when high-rises sprout like weeds, how many more buildings are teetering on the edge because someone looked the other way? It's chilling. And if that doesn't hook you, wait for the emotional punch. The human stories emerging from the dust. As the sun rose on that January morning, emergency responders sprang into action. A multi-million agency team, including the Kenya Red Cross, the National Disaster Management Unit, and the Nairobi City County Disaster Team, descended on the scene. These heroes, equipped with excavators, sniffer dogs, and thermal imaging, worked tirelessly in shifts, navigating the unstable rubble. But the damaged neighboring building complicated everything. Cracks spiderwebbing its walls, forcing rescuers to tread lightly to avoid triggering another collapse. One Red Cross volunteer described the tension. Every creak, every shift in the debris, and your heart stops. We are pulling people out, but one wrong move and we are all buried here. So far, survivors have been few, but each rescue brings a wave of hope amid the despair. Families gathered at the perimeter, clutching photos of loved ones, tears streaming as they prayed for miracles. One security guard's wife shared the agony in an interview. He was just doing his job, watching over the site, and now he's gone, and no one can tell me if he is alive. It's moments like these that hit hard, reminding us that behind the statistics and real people, fathers, brothers, breadwinners snuffed out preventable folly. But hold on, because the revelations don't stop here. Digging deeper into the backstory, it turns out that this collapse echoes a pattern of disasters in Kenya construction. Remember in the 2015 Huruma building collapse that killed 49, or the 2019 Precious Talent School tragedy? Each time, these culprits, shoddy materials, ignored regulations, and a culture of impunity in South C. CCTV footage captured the final moments, the structure groaning, the buckling in seconds, sending plumes of dust skyward. Experts analyzing the video point to a structural overload, poor foundation work, and possibly substandard concrete, but whispers of bribes surface in multiple reports. One article alleges that the county officials were paid off to overlook the extra flaws, turning a blind eye for a quick payout. If true, it's not just negligence, it's also criminal. Yussuf Mohamed Yussuf, the director, has gone silent, but his company's history shows ties to other questionable projects in Nairobi. Authorities are now vowing a full probe, with NCAs suspending all Abyan operations and promising to demolish non-compliant structures citywide. But is it too late? As residents in South C receive urgent warnings to evacuate nearby buildings, fear grips the community. What if your home is next? This is not just a local story, it's a nationwide wake-up call. Shifting gears to the broader impact, let's explore how this affects Nairobi's urban landscape. South C, once a quiet residential area, has transformed into a hub of high-rises driven by demand for housing and commercial space. But with rapid growth comes risks. Urban planners warn that without stricter enforcement, collapses like these could become commonplace. Data from the NCA shows over 5,000 illegal constructions flagged in 2025 alone, yet only a fraction face action. Why the gap? Corruption, understaffing, and political interference, says Insider. One expert quoted in a recent piece, "It's a deadly game when developers bet lives on profits and regulators fold too easily." Envision the economic toll: lost jobs for workers, millions in property damage, and a dent in investor confidence. Hospitals like Nairobi South are overwhelmed, treating injuries from flying debris. Even the shopping center nearby saw businesses halt as roads closed for rescue operations. But amid the gloom, stories of heroism emerge, lifting spirits. A local doctor from the hospital rushed to the site, administering first aid to bystanders. Community groups rallied, providing food and water to the rescuers. It's these acts that restore faith, showing resilience in a crisis. Yet, the question lingers: how do we prevent the next one? Advocates push for reforms, mandatory insurance, AI-monitored sites, harsher penalties for violators. Imagine a future where buildings are safe, not scandals. But that is not all. Wait until you see the latest update from the ground. As of January 3rd of 2026, rescue operations continue. with hopes fading for those still trapped. 2 bodies recovered, identities pending. The government has declared the area a disaster zone, deploying military engineers for stability assessments. Protests brew outside county offices demanding accountability. One demonstrator chants, "No more blood for buildings." It's raw emotion, fueling calls for justice. Delving into the developer's profile, Abyan Consulting Limited incorporated in 2020, specializing in mixed-use developments. Yussuf, a Somali-Kenyan businessman, boasts engineering credential but faced prior lawsuit for unfinished projects. Sources allege he exploited loopholes, renewing licenses late or not at all. In July's arrest, the trio included a site foreman and 2 engineers, released on a 50,000 Kenyan shillings bail, each a slap on the wrists. Critics argue this leniency encourages recklessness. Compared to global standards, in places like Singapore, such violations mean jail time, not fines, and Kenya could learn from that. Now, let's humanize the victims. The trapped guards, one a 45-year-old father of 3 supporting his family through night shifts, another a young man fresh from the village life, dreaming of city success. Their stories tug at heartstrings, evoking sympathy and outrage. Families share memories, birthdays celebrated, promises unkept. It's emotional waves like these that keep you hooked, blending sorrow with suspense. What if hidden cameras reveal more? Stay tuned, developments are unfolding fast. Wrapping towards the end, reflect on the lessons learned. This collapse isn't isolated, it's symptomatic or symptomatic flaws. To fix it, we need transparency, community oversight, and zero-tolerance policies. As viewers, your shares and comments amplify the call of change. Don't let this fade, demand better. South C tragedy is a dark reminder. Progress without precaution is peril. Lives lost, dreams shattered, but from ashes, reform can rise. If this gripped you, hit the like button, subscribe for more deep dives into stories that matter. What do you think? Was it pure accident or orchestrated failure? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and let's catch up on the next Celebrity Drama Files.